I'm going to tie a Prince nymph in a vise with the shank of the hook parallel to the table. We're going to want to put some weight on this fly to make it sink, so we're going to take a 2.5 3-inch piece of lead, go up through the eye of the hook just a little bit, and then I'm going to wrap. Now I want to wrap 2/3 of the shank of the hook. With my thumbnail, I'll break off the back half, run my thumbnail underneath the eye to pop off that front piece. And with my thumbnail, I'm going to center that shank of the hook. Now I want to attach that in good shape. So I'm going to start my thread up by just back of the eye of the hook. Cut my thread on top always, so I don't cut my thread underneath. I'm going to run my thread over, down and back on that over that lead, making sure to go down on the shank of the hook each time so it anchors that in good shape. I need to attach a forked tail on this, so I'm going to go all the way back to the bend and create a little ball of thread. Doesn't have to be big, just a little hump back there. It's going to keep this forked tail spread apart. For my tail, I'm going to use brown goose biots. I'm going to take 2 of those biots and pull them off together. Notice these have a natural curve to them. What I want to do is I want to cut the butt end off and take one of those and turn it around. I want these to concave away from each other. And this is the hardest part of this fly. After you get these concaved apart, playing with them a little bit, I want the tips to be even and concave apart like they are now. So I'm going to get my proportions, grab them in my left hand, lay these down with one biot on one side of the hook, the other biot on the other side, on the back side of the hook. We'll take one very loose turn now, and then tighten up by pulling towards me. I'm going to wrap back to that ball of thread. I take my fingers off. They'll fork apart. They're not quite perfect. You can kind of fool with them now and get them where you want them to be. Now these butt ends, I can just wrap over those or cut them, whatever I need to do to get them out of the way. I want to now attach my rib, which is about a 3-inch piece of gold oval tinsel. I'm going to lay that on the shank of the hook right there where I am now. Take one loose wrap, pull towards me, and attach that in pretty good shape. I'm going to bring my thread up towards the front. For my body, I'm going to wrap peacock curl around, which is a great material for trout flies. It's got really glistens, and it's got some great colors. Really is a trout attractor. What I'm going to do is just even off these butt ends. Now I'm going to attach these with my thread. We'll hold them up against the shank of the hook, take one very loose turn, and pull towards me. Take 5 or 6 good tight wraps. I'm going to hold up at a slight 45-degree angle and a little bit towards me as I wrap over these all the way back to the bend. Back there, I'm going to take 5 wraps in the same spot to anchor the material in good shape. I'm going to take my peacock curl and over the top away from me. I'm going to wrap, take one turn in back of that tinsel rib, and then pull that tinsel rib to the back and leave it. Watching out for the point of the hook, I'm now going to take that peacock curl and wrap it around my thread. just 3 or 4 or 5 turns. Because each time I take a wrap with this, I'm going to put another turn into it. So I just need a few turns to get it started. Now I'm going to wrap my body. I want to hold my thread and the peacock curl together. I want to stay back from the eye of the hook just a little bit. Holding the material straight up in the air, I'll drop my bobbin over the back. Switch hands. Put tension on my thread. Now I can wrap over that material 4 or 5 times to anchor it in good shape. Now I can cut that peacock curl nice and close. And wrap my rib. I'm going to wrap that rib about 4 or 5 times. I want it nice and evenly spaced. Once I get up, again I'm staying back from the eye just a little bit. I'll tie that material off, dropping my bobbin over the back with my left hand, switching hands. Holding my bobbin now in my right hand, putting tension on the thread, I can let go of that tinsel and take 5 turns over the top of it to attach it. I'll cut it very close. Now for the legs on this fly, I'm going to attach my hackle feather, and I'm going to prepare it by getting rid of all the fluff down the back end. Snip off, just leaving enough stem to tie on. Now I'm going to lay that stem right where my thread is against the shank of the hook and take one loose turn over the top and pull towards me. Now I can anchor that feather in good shape. I'm going to take my hackle pliers, attach it to the tip of that feather, and just take 1 or 2 turns of this feather. I just want a few legs on this. I don't want to overdo this. Now I'm going to hold my hackle pliers straight up with my right hand, drop my bobbin over the back with my left. I'll switch hands now. Keep tension on my thread. Now I'll take 5 turns on the same spot to attach that. I'm going to take my hackle pliers, attach it to the tip of that feather, and just take 1 or 2 turns of this feather. I just want a few legs on this. I don't want to overdo this. Now I'm going to hold my hackle pliers straight up with my right hand, drop my bobbin over the back with my left. I'll switch hands now. Keep tension on my thread. Now I'll take 5 turns on the same spot to attach that. To cut that out of there now, I'm going to lift up on the tip of that feather and open my scissors just a little bit. Lay it down there and push. The only thing I'm going to break and cut is what I'm hanging on to. Now I'm going to take my hackle guard tool, put it on my thread, put it up to the eye of the hook, catching all those little fibers and pulling those back. I'm going to wrap over those fibers to hold them back. Take my tool off. For the wing on this fly, we're going to use white loose buyouts. I'm going to take 2 of those off together, just like we did the brown ones before. And cut the butt ends. I don't want these to concave apart. I want these to be side by side. Again, this is fooling with these buyouts is the hardest part of this fly. It's a fairly easy fly to tie. Now I've got them in the position I need to have them to tie on. I'm going to lay those right on the top and hold them down. I'm going to take one very loose turn with my thread and pull towards me. Now I'm going to wrap back over them. And put them, I can just about put them where I want now. I want them separated just a little bit. Get my scissors underneath there now and cut those just as close as I can. Holding those hairs back, I can now finish off the head of this fly with my thread. Lay my half-hitch tool on my thread, take one turn around the tool with the thread, bring that up to the eye of the hook, and gently slide it off. Now 2 turns around the end of my tool, up to the eye of the hook, gently slide it off. Lifting up on the thread will lock that in.